Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on with you, Seal. Okay.
I'm
Number
fine. I'm fine.
number three, Clemson versus NC State. Who you got?
Oh Lord. Clemson's coming off a big 15-0 win over Miami. NC State. I don't know who they played last week, but I know their year ended last week. That that's a head coach in college football. He knows how to fire a team up, get them ready to play. I think Clemson's probably going to win. So I know Clemson's going to win probably by about uh, 30 plus points. I think is what it probably be. I think that's fair.
I think Clemson will win this game too. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest between these two, but I got Clemson winning this. It's going to be a pretty good game. Deshaun Watson's been pretty good this year. Matthew Day's been pretty good for NC State this year. And I think it'll be a pretty good game. I think 17-point win for Clemson is in the works. So give me the Tigers of Clemson to win this game.
17 points, man. That offense of Clemson, man, that's why I said 30 plus points.
I think that's a little stretch there. NC State's 5-2 and 1-2 in the ACC this year.
But they hadn't played nobody legitimate either.
Well, let's go look at their schedule then. I think NC State played someone that was pretty good. Let me see. I want to say I'd seen them. They barely lost to Louisville, and they lost to Virginia Tech. That's their two big losses.
Yeah, that's why
Wake Forest.
Clemson's going to run all over them.
Jacoby Brisket's been pretty good too this year for him. I think if he can have a pretty good game against Clemson, then I think it'd be good for them. They're fourth in the ACC in the Atlantic Division, so it'll be interesting. That's for sure. And okay, well, that's our biggest game of the non-ranked teams that we got so far. But yeah, you ready for the game of the week, Juicy?
Yep.
How about you introduce it?
And our only top 25 matchup of the week, we have number 9 Notre Dame at number 21 Temple. And it's supposed to be a prime time game on ABC, 7 o'clock, I think.
Yep, you got it.
And it's good for Temple because I know Temple past several years, or since I've been growing up, they never really known to be or at least they weren't really known for football. So I'm kind of happy for Temple that they actually playing on prime time TV. I think it's the first time I ever seen them play prime time game, but it's good for them, good for their program. And I like what Temple's done so far this year, and they played really well. But I'm gonna have to go with the Irish in this game. I just think Notre Dame, their offensive line, the way they're gonna pound the ball against Temple, I don't think Temple's got the body, or I don't think they have the body to take the wear and tear of 4 quarters to get pounded by the football over and over again. Give me Notre Dame by about 17, probably at the margin.
I think that Notre Dame will win this game here. It's going to be a pretty good game. I'd say 17 points, 21. It should be a pretty good game, though. And I think it'll be good for Temple. I have great respect for their program. They've done pretty good, and it's going to be a good game for both them teams. So give me Notre Dame winning it. All right, Juicy, what's your thoughts on Pat and Hayden stepping down from the college football
Yeah,
committee?
I seen that today. I was like, my thought was, this is, my thought was kind of about how this system in the college football playoff is. This is one of the issues you might have with, you're supposed to have 13, I think, and they have one, and when they resign like this, it kind of puts them in a bind, and that's what my thought was. They always, the BCS, you never had to worry about that. But Pat Hayden, though, that kind of surprised me. I think he was, in fact, I don't think they should have any athletic directors on the college football selection committee. That's my whole thought on all that.
Well, I mean, it's going to make it 12, so, I mean, if you're going to have 6 votes for these 4 teams and 6 votes for maybe the same teams, usually you can agree with 1, 2, and 3. That's generally what you can agree with. But once you get down to the 4 team, trying to figure out who is going to get in there makes it kind of a messy process.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, let's say if, like we're going to have this debate with Baylor and TCU probably this year, or even Michigan State, or even Alabama. Well, actually not Alabama, because if it depends. Let's say if Alabama beats LSU, do you think LSU has the chance to get in the top 4 then? If they win out?
They still could. I mean, because Alabama, if they win out, but if Alabama wins out too, then probably got to give it. But then Alabama's still got to play in the SEC championship game too. No, I take that back. Alabama wouldn't be in, or it'd be hard to put them in because Ole Miss, if they win out, they're gonna win the West. Even if they beat LSU, because simply because Ole Miss has a tiebreaker over.
I think the only conference that can put 2 teams in the college football playoff is the SEC. That's the only one I think can actually happen. It'll depend on how Baylor and TCU, they'll sort themselves out. Ohio State, this thing could really implode in Ohio State's face. They lose to Michigan or Michigan State. Well, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if that even works out. Clemson, I think they look like they're in a good spot. If they can win out, I think Clemson's pretty good at where they at.
Right now, I think LSU is good where they at.
Well, I'm kind of worried about LSU with Alabama because that's one game that I think is going to be really close. And
oh yeah, wait till next week when we can talk about that game, because I know it's going to be the game of the week next week.
Well, there's another team, LSU, that always plays LSU tough, and that's Arkansas. I know Arkansas has not been having the greatest of years, but they will give LSU a game. They always do.
Mm-hmm. I want to go to that game, the Arkansas game.
It'll be a very interesting game. LSU does have a tough back end of their schedule, though. Alabama, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Arkansas.
I don't see A&M posing much of a threat, though.
Well, we'll see what happens there. I mean, we have to play the game first. And
Ole Miss and Alabama, maybe so, but I don't. I think they'll squeeze.
I want to know if Iowa can even get in this thing here. I want to look at their schedule and see who they play.
I think they play Ohio State.
I think they play them later on in the year. They did beat Northwestern when they were at number 20. They did beat Wisconsin too, so they played some quality teams ish. Let's see. They have.
Oh, but I do know there's another game that you want to talk about.
Yes, there is one more game I have to. Game I want to talk about, and you know what, Juicy? They do not play Ohio State.
But I think they'd beat them anyway. But
well, they'll have to play them in the conference championship game for the Big Ten. They don't have to play Ohio State, which is kind of interesting to me. If how that's going to sort itself out. Michigan State and Ohio State, they're going to fight for that spot in the top 4 there too. this is going to get real interesting in these next 3 weeks. But yeah, like you were alluding to, we have a game at Cajun Field this this tomorrow at 4:00. The UL Monroe Warhawks are coming to town, coming here to Lafayette to take on the UL Lafayette Raging Cajuns. Juicy, I'll let you pick this game. Who you got in this game?
Well, I was wanting to go with the Warhawks, but I thought about it, had time to think about it, and I changed my mind that I think UL. However, before I say this, I'll say I think it's going to be a really good game. I wish I could go, and I would go. I wouldn't have to be working because I know how big the rivalry is. I know how big an NBA game is. Because that's probably both schools. That's probably their biggest rivalry together. But I think UL's gonna come out after that loss to Arkansas State, and they're gonna come out on something to prove. I think what's your quarterback? Nixon.
Yeah, Jalen Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon's gonna. Jalen Nixon's. I think he'll bounce back. He'll have a nice game against ULM. I think he'll be able to throw the ball pretty easily because I know ULM's defense ain't that great. They've given up a lot of yards throughout the season. I think Elijah McGuire can probably accumulate about 150 yards on the ground with them. So I like the Cajuns in this game, and being that they're playing in Lafayette, I like the Cajuns by about 3 to 7 points.
You know, I think UL Lafayette will win this game against Monroe, and they'll get to 3 wins and 4 losses. Now, looking at the rest of the schedule for UL Lafayette, there's a possibility for them to get bowl eligible. I think they'll split 1 to 2 games between Georgia State and South Alabama. They'll lose one of those games. New Mexico State hasn't been really that good this year. I think UL will beat them. Appalachian State, I don't think we got a chance in that game. Troy, we'll say that for a later on conversation later on. That'll be like a whole another month, and I think we'll beat Troy, and they'll give us 6 wins to be bowl eligible. Back to the New Orleans Bowl probably again.
Or maybe to a different bowl.
Or a different bowl. I wish they would go to a different bowl, but you know, you take what you can get.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this will be a pretty good game. It's gonna be raining on Saturday, so
80% chance of rain.
yeah, it's gonna be raining more than likely. I'm gonna get me a poncho after this broadcast though. I'm gonna go sit out in the rain. I'm gonna wear my boots tomorrow so I don't get soaking wet. Well, I'm gonna get soaking wet regardless of how this is, but at least I won't have no puddles and stuff getting in my boots and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Mike Honcho was supposed to give me a sign, but it looks like I'm gonna have to make it because he failed me miserably.
Mike Honcho, he always fails.
Yeah, he failed me miserably. We have a sign that says, "Unfortunately, Louisiana's mistake."
I
And
remember that. That was last year's sign.
yeah, I gotta remake it. I gotta make it again because he doesn't want his original sign to get damaged because it's the original one. Which, I guess I could understand that, but you know, it's gonna take some time. I'll probably end up working on it in the morning.
Don't bring paper. It's going to get wet.
Well, no matter what we do, this sign, I could really care less about it. It's probably not going to last the whole game, but you know, I'll do what I can with it. But it'll be a pretty good thing to do there because, you know, you go to the game, you kick back and relax, have a good time with your friends. And I appreciate everybody listening to the show. We do this for fun. We don't really make no money off of this, but we are on iHeartRadio, so I guess that makes it something there. Y'all can follow us on Facebook, the Fishbowl Radio. Like us, give us a like, thumbs up. Yeah, great stuff. On Twitter, you can follow us on there.